So I just got this really cool gig. It's to produce a song for a full-length feature film. And I'm going to take you through every step of the process from conceptualizing to delivery. In the end, we're going to end up with a song tailored for the film, formatted for Atmos, along with other versions for digital distribution. If time permits, we're going to retool some of the song's themes for the film's score, and we might even get some of the audio post-production work for this. There are a lot of challenges and deadlines associated with this project, but together we're going to go from zero to hero and get it done. Check it out. There have been a few projects that have been stacking up on me, and I really didn't want to fall behind, so I figured I'd do a late night at the studio. So after I ate dinner, I went back. I saw that I had a few missed calls, noticed that one was from my buddy Jim, and he left a voicemail.
Hey, Greg, what's going on? It's Jimbo. I would like to talk to you about something. I think you'd be interested in it. Just need a little bit of maybe like 10 minutes. Give me a call back when you get a chance, man. Bye.
So I called Jim back, and he tells me that a director had reached out to him and asked him to reproduce a song that Jim had previously released with the Electric Shoes. They wanted to reproduce the song under a different light and like a different vibe. I guess the song is quite integral to the movie, seeing that as I understand it right now, that the movie actually shares the same title as the song, which is From the Clouds to the Underground. So I figured I'd schedule a meeting with Jim so that I could talk in depth with him and try to understand what kind of vibe he was looking for. And I also reached out to the director to contact him so I can have a conversation with him to make sure I get a big picture on everything so I understand globally what everybody's trying to accomplish. So I did get in contact with the director. The director's name is Dan, and Dan explained to me the premise of the movie and the production schedule ahead. I'll read you a summary that he posted on his social media about the movie. From the Clouds to the Underground is a full-length movie where each character's perspective will be told in a different genre. There are 3 interwoven storylines based on true stories of local kids from broken homes trying to escape poverty and crime for something better. He goes on to explain that in the movie, there's going to be a scene where Jim performs a song at a live show, the song that we're going to be producing for the movie, which presents the first challenge. Because Dan also told me that the first showing for the film for his clients and a public audience is going to be in mid to late February. And it is now the beginning of January. So that means we need to get the song done for them to be able to schedule a shooting for the scene and then have a little bit of buffer time so they can edit it and squeak it into the film. Given the tight deadline, as soon as I got off the phone with Dan, I text Jim to set up a time for him to come by so we could start working on it. Jim texted me back. We set it up for the next day at 6:30. In the meantime, I figured I'd do some internet sleuthing and see if there were any trailers of the film out. And sure enough, there was. So I went into YouTube, From the Clouds to the Underground, and bang, this guy pops up. I was checking it out. I'm not going to show it here, but I'll put the link in the description. The colors, the animation, and just the way the film is cut, this guy is definitely talented. I'm super excited to be part of this. The next thing I wanted to do was refamiliarize myself with the original version of the song, which is published on Apple Music. So I bopped over there, typed in the Electric Shoes, and threw it up and listened to it a few times just so I can drum up some questions to ask Jim to see what he might want to do differently about it so that I had some kind of foundation to work from. So these 3 or 4 different storylines, and supposedly it's all going to converge together. I'm like super interested.
And stylistically, I think that they were actually literally going to be filmed differently or something.
Oh, really? That's
which is
super friggin' cool. So
and
like
ambitious too. Well, it's a co-write. It's a Electric Shoes song.
Is there something specifically that you wanted to like change about it?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know,
a few things. I'm just starting to do it now, but it's going to come very quickly.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I have aesthetics that I was like thinking of, kind of like 2012. I think it's called like chiptune aesthetics. Like
the circuit bending kind of a sound?
A few different ideas, bass lines, a lot of different parts with the vocals, experimental, head voice stuff. To me, it'd be a lot more moodier.
Dramatic?
Old school 2010s, early 2000s, and heavy emphasis on vocals too. Vocal parts that totally can light a lot of those parts up and highlight those parts.
All right, after talking to Dan and Jim, we've established some very clear directives and a deadline we want to achieve. After talking to Jim, we get an idea of the aesthetics that he's looking for, and Dan has expressed that the film is going to be shot with different shooting styles and different genre vibes. So I think that's something that we can incorporate into our production. What I'd like to do next, and what I'll show in the next video, is how I'm going to create a palette of sounds and soundscapes to use for painting on this production. I'm going to pull up all my drum libraries, sample libraries, virtual instruments, and just try to weed out all the noise and just come up with a very useful, applicable soundscape that we can use for the production of this song.